All right, San Francisco 49ers are up next. They kick things off with Mel Williams in the first round, the edge rusher out of Georgia at pick 11. Second round was another defensive lineman, defensive tackle Alfred Collins out of Texas, and then just a whole lot of volume. Two third rounders, Nick Martin out of Oklahoma State, linebacker Upton Stout, corner out of Western Kentucky, CJ West in the fourth, Indiana defensive tackle Miss wide receiver Jordan Watkins in the fourth. Other key names: Jordan James, the running back in the fifth round out of Oregon, Maris Seagull, the safety out of Kansas State. That's one of my sneaky favorites in the draft here as their second, fifth round pick. And then their most interesting seventh round pick out of the three, Curtis Rohr, the Indiana quarterback. What were your thoughts overall? I don't think a lot of people loved the Niners draft. They seem to go they always go off their own board, especially in recent years. What were your thoughts on the Niners draft here? Yeah, the Niners draft was so they had a draft where I think the deeper it got, the more I liked it. I right up top, I didn't love this draft at all, and the first 2 days I didn't like it. Mike Williams is fine, but he's a player that I just don't think he's worth the number 11 overall pick. I think he's a pretty high floor player, but I don't actually know that he has the upside that a lot of people have been talking about all the way along. He's big, he's powerful, he's got some decent athleticism, but it's not spectacular athleticism. And he's been an underachieving edge rusher. He's been an underachieving pass rusher in college. And yes, last year he was battling through an injury, but I don't think he was that much better the year before either. So I think he'll be a solid addition because they've got Nick Bosa and they've now got some more weaponry along the interior. Um, and he'll probably get decent production just because Nick Bosa is that damn good at creating pressure. I just don't know what the upside is here in Mel Williams. And if I was picking number 11 overall, I would have taken a shot at one of the other edge rushers that I think has a higher ceiling. Um, Similarly, their second and third rounders, Alfred Collins, Nicholas Martin. I just don't know that they have phenomenal upside. But then the deeper we got into this draft, I think they started really adding some players that I liked and kind of repairing, I guess. I didn't hate the draft at that point, but it was fairly nondescript to me. But then the longer it went, the more I warmed to it with the players they added. I imagine they're not great on Arif's rankings here, in part because of the third rounders. Aries, they are the second worst draft in the NFL, relative to value according to Airy. That was my feeling. So I get the first two picks. I just want to talk about them for a minute. I thought Mike Williams, he's young. So that's where the upside comes from. He's still young, about 1,000 snaps or so in college. I've called him a high floor prospect because of his run defense. Played a lot of four technique that's inside over the tackle where he's held his own with his length and everything. He's a length winner. I think at worst, you're getting a good run defender base end opposite Nick Bosa, old school base end. And I think the pass rush potential there hasn't been uber productive, but probably like more productive than a Shamar Stewart in college across the course of his career. And maybe that continues to develop because he's on the younger side. But I get that pick. I get the Alfred Collins pick. You got a 320-pounder who moves pretty well, can shoot some gaps, add some depth on the defensive line. The concern there, he's a year 5 breakout, you know, hasn't done it consistently across the board, but I get it. He could bat some passes. He's got really good length. They added a ton of length up front. 35-inch arms of Collins and Mel Williams. Couple different body types to a defensive line that needed any kind of influx of talent. So I get those two picks, even if they're not I'm with you. Like, I wouldn't feel great about Mike at 11. I don't know if